Okay, hey, welcome back to another video about battling grammar. Now in the last couple we looked at the actual rules of how we play battling grammar. Today we're going to look at some of the special cards. So imagine that we've jumped into a game. It's my turn to draw my hand, so I'm going to draw one core card and two support cards here. And you can see that I have got myself a clause and a prose support, which is going to connect to a noun, and a main support, which is going to connect to a clause. So I can play, in this turn, I could play my clause, and I could connect my main support card to that clause, because it's got that little C symbol in the bottom corner. So now I've got myself a main clause here. Now the clauses have got a slightly different rule for connections, and you'll see at the bottom that they have this sort of downward arrow which says core on it. Now what that tells us is that we can connect any core cards underneath our clause, and I'll show you what we mean in a minute. So imagine we played through a turn and I haven't had to defend with my main clause. I go through and I pick up one new clause core card and one support core card. And you can see my new card is a verb and past tense, so I can connect those two together. I still haven't got anything to connect my pro because I need a noun for that. Now what I can do is then connect this core card, and we know it's a core card because it's a verb, as a black background. We can connect that underneath the clause like that, and that becomes a unit of cards that you can't split up, just like we have a unit of cards here connected together. If we put that and connect that underneath, that becomes a unit of cards that act as one, so you can attack with them together. It's like a group together, obviously. Our fairy folk are attacking with our tree man there. Now how this works when you activate is that then you would need to activate this group, whether you were attacking with it or defending with it, you would need to give an example of a main clause with a verb in it. A main clause with whatever's connected underneath the clause. So in this case it would need to be a main clause with a verb. So the more sort of eagle-eyed of you will have noticed that actually a main clause needs a verb in it. That's one of the definitions, the loose definitions of a clause, is that it needs to have a verb in it. So even if you had activated a main clause, it would need a verb in it. This just gives you some extra attack power or extra defense power. So say I came up with a main clause with a verb in it. Let's say I walked to the shops. So I walked to the shops is a main clause, and walked is my verb there. So if I was attacking with this group of cards, I'd do the same thing as I did with any other group of cards. I'd add together all of the attack values. So in this case it would give me 10 plus 9, which is 19, plus 2, which is 21. So that's quite a powerful attack. And conversely, if I was activating these cards to defend an opposition's attack, I'd add together the defense values. So 5 and 11 would give me 16, plus 3 would give me 19. Now what I can also do there, because I picked up a past tense support card, I could attach that to the verb there. So if I wanted to activate this group, it would have to be a main clause with a past tense verb in it, which makes it a bit more specific. It increases your attack power, your defense power, and it makes it a bit more specific. So I could say, I could use my example again, I walked to the shops. So I walked to the shops is my main clause, and walked is a past tense verb. So let's just imagine that I've played those out. I haven't attacked with them, my opponent hasn't forced me to defend with them, and I'm going to draw my new cards here. So I've got a hand that looks like this. So what I've just picked up there is a noun core card and a subordinate support card. Now this subordinate support card connects to a clause, which you can see with a little C there. So it would connect like that. However, I can't connect that now to my clause because it already has a support card and I can't break those once they're connected. Okay, however, I could play my noun. Now I could play it separately, so it's not part of that card, or I could then connect it to this group underneath the clause. So I'd just place it underneath the last core card. So in this case it would be underneath the verb. And we're making a sort of super deck here, I suppose, is the way to think about it. So now I would need a main clause with a past tense verb and a noun. Not too difficult, but it means that you're thinking about what's going in the clause. And the other card that I had from the beginning was this pro. Now this tells me I can connect it to a noun. So I could connect that to my noun down here and make a pronoun. So now I would need a main clause with a past tense verb and a pronoun. And we're building up quite a serious collection of cards here. And that would give me a huge attack or huge defense. The reason this doesn't really happen in the games is because I've put all my cards into this one group. So my opponent will be attacking me at this point, and if I haven't used my cards to defend myself, I would have lost a lot of health points. So you've got to really balance it out. Sometimes you actually want separate groups of cards, so you have the option to defend with some and to attack with others. So you're not leaving yourself vulnerable while you're building up these sort of mega groups of cards. So that's how we use the special rules for clause, and that's what that little symbol there means. It means you can place other core cards underneath, which make it more powerful. I suppose it's like a group of monsters going to battle together and fighting for each other and combine their attack and defense. Okay, so that's one of them. In the next series of videos we're looking at some of the other special rules. Thanks for watching. Keep battling, keep grammariing. Have fun.